Welcome back, F-Bombers, to a new episode. We have some special guests today. We're talking about governance and leadership and how it really pertains to women who are in a leadership role. What I failed to tell you in the last episode is we're in a new location, if you haven't noticed, with the surroundings here. Thanks to Clark Marketing, who we have helping and supporting us in a lot of facets, and Ben, who's behind the scenes, who's doing all of the production end. So big thanks to them. So moving on. Today we have some special guests with us today. We have Kim Conmacher, who's here with us today, and we have Nancy from the CAS, who's here today. And so they're actually very special colleagues of mine. I've been with them, God, I don't know how, 5 years? No, 4 years, 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
5 years. Yeah. So I thought of bringing them in because, we've had a lot of discussions over the last 5 years, and I've played a part sitting in on a board with them, and Nancy with you in multiple hats in that time frame. So I thought it's a really important topic to really discuss how we interact as leaders with our board, if you have a board that you're responding to, but also what does governance look like if you're a board member? Particularly as a woman, how do you voice that? How do you voice being a director or a part of a board in full capacity? So, Nancy and Kim, do you want to introduce yourselves a little bit?
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about your current roles and your past.
Sure. So thank you for asking us to be part of this. My background is kind of twofold, really. I was in my career, I was a CEO. So I completely understand Nancy's role, and now my current role as board chair for the Children's Aid Society. But certainly, when I was reflective of my career as a CEO, back in the day, I was probably one of very few female leaders in our YMCA movement. And, thinking back, when I was appointed as CEO, not only was I female, but I was young. I was 36 years old.
Oh, yeah, that's young.
So it was a very different time back then. And certainly, I had some incredible bosses who were both male and female, but mostly male, and incredible volunteer board members as well that certainly believed in the work that I was doing as a young female professional, and certainly I used those individuals as my mentors, because really there wasn't anyone else in a female role that I could certainly rely on. So. Yeah. That's a little bit about my background, but certainly being a volunteer. I do recognize as a CEO how important it is to have volunteers part of your organization, and they certainly play a critical role in the success of the organization. So I'll turn it over to Nancy so that she can maybe talk a little bit about herself and the role of the board in our organization. So.
Yeah. So
well,
Nancy,
it's my pleasure to be here on the F-Bomb podcast.
Aptly named.
Yeah, and such an important topic.
Yeah.
So it really, I thank you for the invitation to be here and engage in this discussion. My name is Nancy LaFrance-Rich, and I'm the executive director at the Children's Aid Society here in North Bay. I spent my career in child welfare, and I occupied different roles during my long career, and I'm ending it as the leader of the organization. I feel like it's a huge privilege to be in the position I am right now, particularly at the stage of my life when I've learned so much, and I feel like it's an opportunity to give back. I've always felt a great sense of privilege to do the work we do. It's always felt very purposeful. And I've always had deep passion for the work we do and the people we work with and work for. So it's been a great career, and I always feel so blessed to have our volunteer board members to carry this with us and to really join our efforts and hold us accountable. I report to a board, but I'm also part of a board. And so I've had some experience on both sides, but a great appreciation for the value that the board plays within the organization.
Yeah. And you both actually mentioned something that's fairly important to remember is your board is a volunteer, right? Any board directors that are there with you, guiding you, working with you, they're volunteering their time, right? I don't think people really realize just how much time and effort that takes as a board member, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Again, reflecting on my career, having that partnership with the board volunteer is certainly critical in, standing by some of the work that needs to be done in the organization, and often being the executive director or the CEO, it's a very lonely job, and there really isn't anyone there that you can confide in and talk to. And certainly the board chair really does play that liaison role between the board and the executive director. So I can certainly appreciate the confidentiality and the support that is needed in those types of situations because it's not always unicorns and
rainbows.
That's right. So it is really important to have that relationship in a supportive role. Certainly, understanding the role of the board chair really is. When you talk about governance and the importance of governance, it's so important that good governance really reflects accountability in the best interest of the organization. And that's our first and foremost role as a board member, to ensure that there's transparency, accountability, that there is an open forum where everyone's voice matters around the table. There's diversity and inclusion to provide many different perspectives in decision making. But I think that is really critical in good governance and really important to the work I know that, Christina, that we do as board members. We really do take our role seriously.
Mm-hmm. So is that how you would define good governance then, or what governance really is?
Absolutely. I think it's really important that it holds us accountable as board members to ensure that, the society is a healthy organization and that policies and procedures, strategic plan, and again, we go through the executive director. She is our one employee, and certainly we take that job very seriously as well. Yes, and of course, most importantly too, we have our stakeholders too that we're accountable for. So I think that's typically some of the big ones, anyways.
Nancy, how would you define governance?
Yeah, I would agree with everything Kim said. I mean, the board, the diverse experience that our board offers is tremendous. It really makes us a better organization. They represent different walks of life, different perspectives.
Right.
And it's really the contribution of everything that makes us better.
Yeah.
They represent all our stakeholders, which is really important in holding us accountable to deliver our mandate, but also to tailor our services to the needs in our community, to represent sort of the needs of the community, but our clients, our staff, our community partners. And so they ask a lot of questions. They hold us accountable, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
It's an important role we have in the community. And we should be held accountable to the work we do.
And I would assume that kind of, translates, you're working in the social service sector, right? But, any kind of agency or organization that has a board is the same across the board, right? They have a due diligence to be accountable to those, those stakeholders that they're representing or that they're answering to, so to speak, right? That accountability piece. How would you define then transparency then for like our viewers? What does that look like as a board? And how do you navigate the line between working as a board versus, getting into the minutia of the organization, right?
Right. It is an interesting line for sure, and having been on both sides, I think it is really important for board members to know that they can ask any questions, and they need to be able to feel that, when you ask about defining transparency, I think that is critical, to be able to ask a question and if there's information that we require in order to make decision, because not always are we in a position to make decision at a board meeting. Mm-hmm. That does require some additional information from staff leadership or community, mm-hmm. Other stakeholders that might be involved. That allows us to have that information in front of us. So transparency, I think, is a two-way street between, and again, it's that trust between the executive director and the board that is really critical for transparency. In my mind. So
yeah, you talked about trust a few times. I'm wondering, Nancy, how do you build trust as an ED with your chair? Are there ways that you would kind of approach that?
Well, I think by being transparent promotes trust.
Seems to be the word of the day.
and rightfully so.
Yeah.
We have a huge mandate. We're entrusted with the funding to mm-hmm. deliver the mandate. And we have to be accountable to what we're spending our money, or the decisions we're making, or the quality in which we're delivering the mandate and offering services. And so, from client complaints to policies and procedures to budgets to forecasting to decisions we're making to risks that the agency is holding, that's all the topics that we share openly with our board, mm-hmm. The good, the bad, the ugly, mm-hmm. And they're aware of sort of some of the challenges and the opportunities that we face, and, they ask a lot of questions around that. And I think those questions really lead to really great discussion, mm-hmm. Assessment, and at mm-hmm. the end of the day, we probably make much better decisions as a result of having board involvement and mm-hmm. the questions that they ask and that level of transparency.
Yeah.
The other piece too, Christina, sorry that I missed, which is probably top drawer, is our fiduciary responsibility as an organization. And that would be so true for many organizations. Yeah. And the board's role really is, to do that deep dive and really understand the organization and how it's funded. And, what are we accountable for to our stakeholders, our children, youth, and families in our communities, our foster parents, our kin parents, many, our volunteers, many people are involved in that particular piece of our fiduciary responsibility. And I know that we certainly take that very seriously at the Children's Aid Society. Mm-hmm. Currently, that's probably one of our number one benchmarks. And having those I guess those, your favorite term, the checks and balances, of where we are as an organization, and really making sure we're meeting the marks when it comes to what the quality assurance benchmarks are, and everything we do is a report card. So I think it's really important that that is also stated in some of our responsibilities as good governors.
So I kind of want to switch gears a little bit, because you've both kind of touched on a few things.
Yep.
My thinking is, I came onto the board. I had never been on a board, which was like, okay, this is great. I get some board experience, right? How do you think that supports women in leadership, being on a board? Like, what kind of skills do we, maybe practice, and I can tell you, but I want to hear from you. What are the benefits of being on a board?
I think that's probably a good question, because I don't know if I've ever really thought about it in the sense that it just organically kind of happened, in the sense of wanting to understand leadership and understand what it is to be part of a board, and is it okay to ask questions? And I'll tell you a little story. When I first became a CEO at 36. I remember going to a big all CEO meeting in Ontario, and my northern colleagues, again males, said, "Okay, you sit at the back of the room and you keep your mouth shut." And so that was my first experience as a female leader. So I would absolutely not recommend that.
That's 0 stars, right, Kim?
Right. And I'm so happy that things have changed since then. But those are some of the, the stepping stones of women in leadership over the years that have been systemic. And anyway, so I would certainly say that be bold, be fierce, and be you when it comes to board leadership. And it's great experience. It's good networking as an aspiring young leader to be at a board table. And certainly, I know a lot of organizations have started to bring on young leaders as young as even high school to be part of a board for some do it as an observation purposes, teaching, and others do it that they have full voting rights, which I think is, if they're going to be at a board table, they should have those types of things. But again, every organization is a little bit different. But I really do support that. Young women should absolutely be involved in boards. And Nancy, I'm sure you have stuff to say too about your
about having female representation on a board.
Yeah, and I think the importance of having that board experience, if you're seeking leadership, I think is like invaluable, right? I know, like even coming onto the board, for instance, Nancy had no clue the extent to which operations had considerations, right? Whether it be fiduciary or CQI or quality assurance, as we call it, right?
That's right.
But just having that knowledge and learning from even other people's perspectives provides you with an invaluable knowledge set, I think, going into leadership. So I don't know. I just thought, what were your thoughts on that?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You get an in-depth understanding of how an organization operates that you never would otherwise know.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, a lot of the good work that we do, a lot of the challenges we face, the mistakes we make, the risks we carry.
Yeah.
And so you see that at a very intimate level.
Yeah.
Through your board experience. But the beauty of having a board is that you bring your experience and expertise to our area of service. So it certainly helps to have an interest or passion for the cause.
Yeah,
because then that makes it so much easier to sit and listen and engage and ask questions, and then bring, whether it's finance, legal, real estate, research, bring that perspective to our operations. Just allows us to grow even more.
Yeah.
And see things differently or see opportunities differently. And so it's invaluable, really.
I think it's so important as well that, I hear it all the time. I don't know if I have anything to give to a board. I don't. Whether it's confidence or whatnot. But absolutely, I think that there is a huge link there for innovation and new ideas. And certainly, as a retiree now, I appreciate learning more. And I learn something every day. And particularly when you step away from your field, you're not in the day-to-day anymore. And it's really valuable to understand and see young leadership and just some of the, the enthusiasm. I just feel like our future is bright by these young women and men, certainly developing these governance skills in the boardroom.
And I think that's important to kind of highlight too, that oftentimes, as women, we don't think we have the skill set to bring, especially when we're young, right?
Yeah.
But that it's important to note that you do have something to add to the conversation and not to be afraid,
right?
to approach those kinds of opportunities. And I think about, even with our board, we have that skills matrix, right? That we always try to hit on every kind of, facet and subject expertise, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So there's a range of expertise that we're looking for as a board.
For sure.
Whether it be from legal to, whatever it might be, right? So not to be afraid to kind of apply for those things.
Absolutely.
I've also come to really appreciate the role of the board in advocacy as well.
Yeah.
Especially as an agency in Northern Ontario, we face issues, challenges that aren't necessarily in every community.
Yeah.
So having a board that's prepared to advocate and bring attention to these issues on behalf of the organization is incredibly valuable.
Yeah. One of the things I do want to highlight, though, and I think it goes back to this idea of being a volunteer, right? It does take time.
Absolutely.
Time, mental effort, that, and it's one of the topics we're going to hit on in a few weeks, which is like the balance as a woman. How do you balance it all? And I look at you, the two of you, and I think, okay, well, how do you do that? Like being a board chair, that takes a lot of time, right? And then I think, Nancy, like how much time do you devote to the job, right? So how do you balance that? And also make sure that's communicated to your board, right, is so important. But that's why I wanted to highlight the idea of the volunteer aspect, right? Because people think, oh, you're just there for once a month. Not really, right? So can you comment on that a bit, Kim, too? Like just how much time and effort?
Yeah. And again, I'm in a little bit of a different position being retired. But again, I do keep a very busy schedule. And one of the things that I have found recently, when I say recent, meaning since COVID, the ability to be able to attend meetings virtually or be part. Yeah. There's many different ways to be involved now that I think helps. And again, personally, I put in what I feel I have time for. And basically that's, I enjoy being part of it because I also feel that I need to be informed. I feel like that's just how I operate. And I know I had volunteers that were very dedicated and certainly supportive. And I know what it means to have strong volunteers by your side. So, this is a way for me to give back.
So we're going to wrap things up, but I could chat about this forever. Maybe we'll finish it at a board meeting. If there's one piece of advice you could give to women who are entering leadership or in leadership now about the importance of governance, what would it be? One piece of advice or one thing to remember.
Well, I'm going to say what I said earlier, and that really is be bold, be fierce, be you. And certainly don't ever underestimate that you have something to offer because you definitely do.
That should be the new slogan. Be bold, be fierce, be you.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
It is.
And I think you can't go wrong with volunteering on a board because the knowledge and of the operations of another organization and the learning involved with that is tremendous.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you for having us.
I loved having you guys, and I hope we can maybe bring you back at some point again in the next year or so.
Sure.
Thanks for listening in, everybody, and stay tuned to another episode.